Hello, everyone, and welcome to Alfa Art Gallery's Meet the Artist series. My name is Avishi Bansal, and I'm a curatorial intern here at Alpha. Today, I'm thrilled to be speaking with Mark Aizenberg, an award winning photographer whose work brings together scientific inquiry, perceptual psychology, and a refined sensitivity to both natural and architectural landscapes. Mark's background in neuroscience shapes the way he understands visual perception, allowing him to explore how the mind organizes complexity into unified, emotionally resonant images. His aerial and black and white work invites viewers to encounter landscapes as abstract compositions, balancing clarity, structure, and poetic ambiguity. Mark, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'd love to begin by learning more about where your artistic journey began. You've mentioned that photography has been part of your life since childhood. Was there an early memory or influence that set you on this path?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure to talk to you. With regard to your question, yes, my earliest memories they go back to high school, probably. I wouldn't recall any specific person or thing that shaped my interest in photography. If it was one, it would be well. I read a lot of books about animals, animal behavior, and these books were accompanied with wonderful photography. If there was a person who shaped my interest, that would be Konrad Lorenz. It's an Austrian scientist and ethologist who received Nobel Prize for his work on animal behavior, and he wrote very wonderful books and accompanied with amazing photography. I can share with you um,
Of course.
some of if you like, yeah.
Yeah, I will.
So this would be an example of a book, one of the books that I um, that I read. Okay, so this is the Year of the Gray-Leg Goose by Corton Lawrence. I mean, this is not an advertisement of Amazon. This is just an example of. I just didn't want to use the photos from his book because they might be copyrighted.
Yeah,
So yeah, so this is how my interest in photography was shaped, and also biology. So I started probably at high school, um, having first photograph made like in a very long time ago. This would be my first camera. It's like Russian SLR camera called Zenit E.
hmm,
As you can see, it's a film camera. So um, I I didn't I didn't consider myself as an artist at the time. I just was fascinated by the whole process of the photography. Uh, I developed the films myself in the bathroom. I also printed photos in the bathroom. So all this was kind of magical for me. Um, but later on, I started to be more interested in photography as an art form.
that's interesting. And to see how you've blended your scientific practice and training with your artistic vision, how do you think in what ways does the study of perception influence you to compose or interpret an image? Like, does your scientific training begin to intersect with that artistic vision of yours?
Yeah, so as I told that the interest in biology was very early. I wouldn't say that I would say some understanding in how brain works and how perceive. visual stimuli um, affect explicitly how I compose my photos. Um, what I would rather say that it helps me to understand, to interpret some of the images and to understand if um, why why we like some of the images and why we dislike them.
And you've often said that simplicity defines your artwork. And what does simplicity like mean to you visually, emotionally, or even philosophically when you're capturing an image?
So for me, simplicity is to reduce image to the bare minimum of the details uh, that still that the image still conveys what I want to convey to the observer. Um, and this is actually very hard to do in photography because when you take picture of something, it's it this object that you try to take picture of is among many other objects that can interfere with your message, right? And so you want to uh, reduce the image to the bare minimum, to the object that you that you wanted to focus on, and it's actually amazing um, how it is easy to reduce many of the distracting details of the image without nobody, like anybody would notice it, right? I
Yeah.
can show you,
Yeah, of
for
course.
example, I can show you these two images and how, so how long would it take for you to distinguish between them, to find the differences?
I think I find one difference. There's a little less of a people on the righter side to the mountain. I think that's the difference
To
I see.
in which image, in the left or right?
In the left image, there is lesser people.
Right, yeah. So you're very good, actually. It took me much longer to find this difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you see the complex image with a lot of details, it actually doesn't sometimes doesn't matter. You can omit some of the details and nobody would notice.
Hmm.
Um, so this is called
Yeah, it's definitely
change
like,
blindness. I mean, you probably heard about it. In it is a famous term in psychology.
yeah, it is. I've heard
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
Uh,
So on the other hand, when you look at the very basic features uh, like line orientation, for example, in this one, uh, it is very easy to find a line that different in its orientation among other lines. So you
yeah.
immediately focused on this line. And this is basically a feature of the visual processing very early in the visual pathway. Brain focus on three things, basically: the contrast, orientation, and color.
Hmm.
And this is what I'm trying to emphasize in my images. So, for example, this one that I submitted to the gallery,
Yeah.
you can see immediately your attention is brought to the diagonal line that goes across the whole image.
Yeah, it does. This piece is like really interesting. And seeing, I think it's from a aerial perspective. Do you think that aerial photography, like what inspired you to explore the world from above? And like what continues to captivate you from about photographing landscapes from this perspective, like aerial photography, what inspired that?
Right. So the perspective is a key word.
Yeah.
Um, so for aerial photography, there are two major advantages of it. One is you can reach the areas they couldn't reach by foot or by car. You have to fly, right?
Yeah.
And another more important, in my opinion, advantage is that you can take uh, the same image of same object with very different perspective, and you will never guess that it's the same object, basically. So one of the example would be this fence on the beach that I took this picture from the ground, and this is the image on the right. This is image of the same fence from above. Here you can even see the fence. You only can see the shadow of the fence. So it looks very different. It is for me, it's very interesting to look at the objects from the very different perspective.
It is. It looks really different. You wouldn't know what it is from an aerial view. And it almost kind of looks architectural. Like, what does these relationships between architectural and natural formation signify for you? And how do you hope that your viewers interpret that connection, if there is any?
Yeah, so I am attracted. So in my art, I am attracted to like basic features of the object. Again, it's contrast, orientation, and color, sometimes black and white, but it's basically the contrast and orientation and color. There's three things that attract me, and it doesn't really matter where I can find them. In architecture, uh, you can find more of the straight lines, more of the textures, and I'm very attracted to textures. It's hard to explain why, but I feel like deep satisfaction at looking at repetitive patterns. It's probably some kind of compulsive thing for me. In nature, is harder to find straight lines, but you can find a lot of curves, and I like that too. When you look at the like abstract curvatures, you instinctively try to find things that they resemble. Similarly, when you look at the sky, look at the clouds, and you find the shapes that remind you something, the same thing um, could affect you when you look at the ground from above.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting how you've completely taken abstract work into a completely different like perspective of it. And I've never heard that from anybody else. So thank you so much for sharing that with me. And considering all of these very wonderful images, could you walk me through your creative process? Like from planning a shoot to scouting locations to like flying and capturing the shot and eventually like shaping the final image. How does a piece come together from start to finish for you?
Uh, s- so the process starts with the planning. When you do aerial photography, yeah, you have to plan ahead. One reason for it is that in many places first of all, in many places you don't have permission to fly, or you have to apply for permission to fly. And so this is the first reason why you have to apply. So first of all, when I fly even abroad, I have to register my drone, ask for permission to fly in these certain areas, pay some fees, and so on and so forth. Another reason is that battery life of the drone is quite short. You don't have this luxury to fly aimlessly around for hours and look for the good subject or good object. So you go first to the Google Earth or Apple Maps, so satellite images. So this is like, for example, of the image from the Delaware, and you look for places where you would like to find some interesting patterns, interesting textures and stuff like that. And so you go there and you fly the drone for maybe 5, 15 minutes, take your pictures, take videos, and go back home. And there, after that, the creativity begins. Um, so I don't use Photoshop a lot. I do basic editing in Lightroom.
Mhm.
You probably notice that I like very contrasty photos, so I adjust contrast, I adjust colors, or convert image to black and white.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and this is it. And the one of the most important editing is cropping, because you need to crop off everything that distracts from what you want to say.
Yeah, I noticed like a lot of things, how like most of your submissions had like black and white instead of color. So, like, how do you think that removing color changes your relationship to the subject or the image? Like, what does monochrome allow you to do that color might not?
Um, so first of all, I don't have anything against color. About half of my images are
Yeah.
color-wise, and sometimes color can be very important uh, for the image, because first of all, there are amazing colors. Like if you take pictures of the fall, you you hardly can convey the beauty of the fall without color, right? Um, Second, there is color contrast. Sometimes you don't, when you convert image to black and white, there is no contrast at all, because all of the contrast comes from the color contrast. But in many images, the colors are either distracting or just don't add anything. So one would be, so there's another image of that I submitted to the gallery. On the left, it's the original image. On the right is one converted to black and white. Black and white. Uh, so some people would like color more, but in this particular one, I didn't want to. So I wanted to emphasize just the curves. It's just the contrast. So for me, color would distract from it. So as you see, I converted to black and white, and actually here, I reduced contrast in order to reduce all these, you see, speckles that you see around the water, because I wanted to focus on just on these curves.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's a lot more smoother and more interesting
Hmm.
to look at this image in black and white than it is in color, because I think it allows the viewer to like think more about it, what it might be, and just even the different contrasts in this picture. So I definitely
Exactly.
agree with that. And talking about the submissions, I'd love to talk about wetland, a
Hmm.
piece that is being featured in this exhibition. And in many of your photographs, you treat the earth almost like a canvas, transforming these kind of landscapes into like painterly abstraction. What initially inspired you to like photograph these kinds of images?
Yeah, so so that might be just for me, but as I said, I in love with textures,
Mm-hmm.
and when you look at the texture, you kind of want to touch it and feel it, and this is very satisfactory to me.
Yeah.
Um, and so when you took picture from above, sometimes like in this picture that you see here or in the wetland, um, you see a lot of texture. Um, and I even don't know how to explain it, but is just something that I love to see. This is something that attract me uh, to architecture as well. So to see the repetitive features, repetitive patterns, or sometimes not repetitive, very abstract and chaotic, is this is things that I'm attracted to.
No, that definitely makes sense. I feel like texture in itself makes a piece more interesting than when it's probably flatter, especially photography, considering it's such a 2D medium and it's like it's very interesting how you incorporate texture in your pieces. And finally, on an emotional level, what do you hope viewers experience when encountering your photograph? Is there a specific mood, reflection, or perceptual shift you aspire to evoke?
It's very hard to me to expect from the observer to feel anything. I hope observers will feel the same as me, but um, I can't control it. I actually don't care what they feel, as long as they feel something.
Mm,
So it could be just, you know, wondering, looking at the picture, wondering what it is,
yeah.
and or just looking at the picture and saying, that's pretty cool.
Mm,
Or, you look at the picture of a wetland and feel the beauty and the value of the nature,
yeah,
and you want to visit there. This so as long as observer feels anything, that's good for me, works for me.
that's good. I think I heard from you last time that you also wish that someone would see your photographs and it would save someone's life. Would you want to expand on that?
Yeah, so I learned about this example not far ago. Um, this was so I heard about this writer, a British writer. Um, so his name, hold on, what I forgot his name. It's very so his name is Stoppard,
Mhm.
and he passed away recently. And so he wrote this play called Arcadia, and there was a professor called Michael Baum. He's the professor of surgery in the University College of London, and he's surgical oncologist. He's a specialist in breast cancer. And so he saw his play, and he noticed one thing. So I can read you. It's very short. He wrote a letter to Times uh, earlier this year. Uh, so he wrote. This is from the play. Thomasina asked her tutor Septimus, if there is an equation for curve like a bell, there must be an equation for one like a bluebell. And if a bluebell, why not a rose? With that, Stoppard explains chaos theory, which better explains the behavior of breast cancer. In the point of diagnosis, the cancer must have already scattered cancer cells into circulation, the nest latent in the distant organs. The consequence of that hypothesis was the birth of adjuvant systemic chemotherapy. And this chemotherapy saved a lot of lives. And so so Stoppard never learned actually how many lives he saved by writing Arcadia. Um, so I'm not saying that looking in my pictures, somebody would be saved, but it's very nice to know that you actually never know what happens to the mind of the people who look at the art. And you may have some hope that your art may save someone.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for introducing me to that. I did not know about it. And I feel like it's such an interesting perspective on how you want others to view your work, and definitely not something I've heard about before. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, I just want to thank you, and it's my privilege to show my pictures in your gallery. And I'm looking forward to meet you in person and visit the gallery.
Of course, it is definitely our honor to be showing your work at our gallery for sure. And thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. And it's been wonderful to learn about your creative process, how you blend science and neuroscience with your artwork, and the intention behind your works, and how texture has influenced your work so much, along with how you perceive your artwork in general, but like whether it be black and white work or just color in general, it's all very amazing. And we're honored to be featuring your photography in our upcoming exhibition, Reflections of the Living Art World, here at Alfa Art Gallery, running from January 20th, 2026 to March 21st, 2026. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope you're having a wonderful rest of your day.